I mean, those days of marital bliss, quickly changed. I mean, like you're at sea and it's calm, it's gentle. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a storm comes up and you are knee deep in it. You're trying to survive.
I went back to play. She went to school in Philadelphia, the Art Institute. So we were about maybe an hour or so apart. She was at that time 6 months pregnant. And
28 weeks, 27 weeks.
27 weeks.
26 weeks.
Yeah, 26 weeks pregnant, and her water broke. Called my trainers. Baltimore has one of the best NICUs in the country. We rushed her to the hospital. Because we weren't married, she was on student insurance and not on my insurance, because if she was on my insurance during one of her checkups, they would have saw that, she was having trouble holding the baby and they would have put a suture in. But because she had student insurance, people didn't care. And I think it was neglect. But, as soon as she went in, it was like, this baby's 27 weeks, his lungs wasn't developed. They couldn't see it on the ultrasound. I mean, I didn't know what to do. I'm trying to be strong for her and support, but I'm hurting.
I think that when back in, I don't even know what year that was, when we first moved to California, that was a really difficult time. The church he was pastoring had really fallen apart. He had 3 jobs and he lost all 3 of them in like a day or 2 of each other.
Yeah, it was a mess.
We really had to pack up and leave Atlanta.
For the first time, we had never been through anything like that.
No, we never moved. We went to college in Atlanta. We got married. We had our kids. We started our careers. We'd have been in Atlanta for like 10 years.
Yeah.
It was all we really knew.
All of our kids were born there.
Yeah, and so when the church fell apart and when he lost those other 2 jobs, it was like the first time I'd ever seen him depressed. Like he was a busy guy, like a go-getter, like on to the next thing. And I think for a year or 2, he just couldn't find his way through. And I think for those couple years, I really felt like I was carrying our marriage emotionally.
It was rough.
It was tough.
It was rough.
First year in our marriage was tested.
Oh, yeah.
True and true.
And then you said you moved at that time.
We moved. Eddie transitioned from the Tennessee Titans to the Dallas Cowboys, and it was nothing like we expected. He had the first 8 years of his career was storybook. There, it was like a horror film. It was just not what we expected at all. First of all, the heat was unreal. It was a nightmare. It was just a nightmare.
Yeah, team wasn't very good. And yeah, it was, we were challenged out the gate. We're searching for me, from a personal perspective, for a peace of mind and on all the wrong places. And I had to channel that energy in a different direction. So very much so, counseling was a big part of that ordeal.
When you say you were searching for what did that mean?
It means what it means. In all the wrong places you can think of. The clubs, the other women.
Ambien.
Yeah, to get a good quality of rest. I mean, it's just the struggle that I've had.
So he came out 2 pounds, 2 ounces. And I mean, we kangaroo with him.
Do you know what kangaroo is?
I'm sorry.
You have to take off your shirt, hold the baby against you. The skin-to-skin contact is supposed to help them grow and develop the way they would inside you.
And that's also the time when I became a fan of my son, because at that point in my career, I was a backup special team player. And to watch my son at 2 pounds, 2 ounces fight for his life, that whole month, this was during the off season. I still had to go to work and try and keep it together. So after work, we would go up there and kangaroo. She would go up there and do it during the day, and I would come and we would go. And that probably was the best season of my career. And I felt like if this kid can come in this world and fight and not complain, or, for my wife not to have excuses, what excuse do I have not to kind of chase my destiny and not be afraid of anything?
So much of my identity, of who I saw myself as, was wrapped up in what I did. And so I've been a pastor for my entire 20s, and I had imagined myself being a pastor for my entire life. And so all of a sudden, when I was no longer a pastor, I didn't know who I was. Like who I saw myself as was not first as a Christian, not first as a man. Like I saw myself so much as this role that when I no longer had the role, I was struggling to figure out where I was going with life, what was next for me in life.
When we started dating, my career was over. SWV had broken up. So I was no longer Taj from SWV. I was actually Eddie George's girlfriend or Eddie George's wife. So understanding his career change, I totally understood what he was going through. I'd been there already. When he sat in the car and asked me what's going on, I'm like, look, it's like this, it's like that. I can totally tell you what's going on. And it hurts. It hurts like hell, but you'll get through it. You will get through it.
It was never like a big thing that happened. And I think that's a lot of what we've learned in our marriage is that when you allow small things to fester and to grow, and when you don't learn how to fight right, and fight in a way that shows that you still love each other, or you don't know how to ask for what it is that you need, and you don't know how to respond to what your spouse needs. It's those things over time that I think really stress a marriage.
When I'm playing football, it takes so much of you. Physically, I'm gone before the kids wake up. She's taking them to school. You know, I'm not around. I can't go to some of the programs because I was playing and things like that. And she handles everything. It takes a strong person to push aside their dreams to support somebody else's. See, I do the easy part, right? It's easy for me to be the lead singer in the band, right? But it's harder and it takes more humility for somebody to be a supporting actor when she doesn't have to be. I mean, she's a talented designer. She went to school for fashion design. She could have chased her dreams, but she said, you know what, I'm gonna put my family first, and I'm gonna put my husband first. And to me, that's the definition of what real love is, sacrifice. You know, and I'll always be indebted and appreciative to her for the sacrifice she made, not only for me and my dreams, but for other people's dreams and for our kids so that they can have the best chance to be successful.
Wow.
That was just beautiful.
See, that's a Detroit in there.
What? No, it was beautiful.
She got a little, it's a jab in there
No,
somewhere.
it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It has helped us grow a lot. So yeah, when I look at my kids and I look at my family, I'm so blessed. I can't even ask for more. God is so good because the things that we have gone through, the things that I have gone through my 46 years of life, I shouldn't even be here. But I'm here, I'm healthy, I'm happy, I have my family to lean on. Nothing can stop me.
Mm-hmm.